2020 US presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders has lashed out at a think tank belonging to his own party. He's accused the Centre of American Progress of stirring up infighting and damaging the Democrats' hopes of taking back the White House.
I and other Democratic candidates are running campaigns based on principles and ideas and not engaging in mudslinging or personal attacks on each other. Meanwhile, the Centre for American Progress is using its resources to smear Senator Booker, Senator Warren and myself, among others. This is hardly the way to build unity or to win the general election.
The Centre for American Progress promotes non-left candidates within the Democrats. In 2016, it threw its weight behind Hillary Clinton. Presidential hopeful Arvin Vohra from the Libertarian Party thinks that the Centre is establishment through and through.
In all parties, you're going to see some think tanks that are basically designed to promote the establishment values. Center for American Progress certainly does that. They're very cautious about pushing the agendas that are going to be frightening to powerful lobbyists, to moneyed interests, because that damages their own funding. And they're going to keep on trying to do everything they can to push the establishment interests. And so it's not necessarily about Hillary Clinton specifically, but rather promoting establishment candidates generally.
It's not the first time Bernie Sanders has complained about the way the Democrat Party nominates its presidential candidate. His criticisms of so-called superdelegates led to reforms last year, although, as Maupin explains now, they are unlikely to have much impact.
It's campaign season once again in the United States, and with Trump as the presumptive nominee for re-election on the Republican ticket, it's the Democratic primary that is the focus. So far, there are 18 different candidates running for president as a Democrat, and at this point, it's expected that the number may increase.
I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
I'm running to serve you as the next president of the United States of America.
I am a candidate.
I announce my candidacy.
Announce my candidacy.
I'm running for president.
I'm filing an exploratory committee for president of the United States tonight.
Last time, the Democratic primary was a bit of a circus, with Bernie Sanders supporters declaring that the process was rigged against them.
Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders supporters clashing in Nevada.
Angry Bernie Sanders supporters fighting over delegates in Nevada tonight, coming to represent a nasty feud shaking up the Democratic Party.
Now, not every vote counts the same when it comes to nominating the Democratic Party's candidate. The infamous superdelegates appointed by party bigwigs have the ability to overturn the popular vote.
Over 400 of these superdelegates indicated their support for Secretary Clinton before anyone else was in the race.
But now the Democratic Party has changed the rules to make everything fair. Well, sort of.
We passed major reforms that will not only put our next presidential nominee in the strongest position possible, but will help us elect Democrats up and down the ballot across the country. These reforms will help grow our party, unite Democrats and restore voters' trust by making our 2020 nominating process the most inclusive and transparent in our history.
Now, this time around, the superdelegates won't get to vote at the convention unless there is no clear majority in the first ballot. However, at this point, with 18 different candidates in the race, none of which are polling above 32%, it's pretty likely that that will happen. And that might actually be part of the plan.
For 2020, Democrats' jam-packed field is already on track to surpass the Republican 17-way rumble of 2016 and lacks an obvious frontrunner. At the dizzying pace, small and large dollar donors are bankrolling their favorite hopefuls. Many Democrats could have the financial wherewithal and even pressure from their backers to campaign deep into the primary calendar, dramatically increasing the odds no candidate will capture a majority by the convention.
If the superdelegates do end up voting, it's not clear who they would support. However, it's pretty clear who they would not support. At this point, Bernie Sanders is favored and leading in many polls among rank-and-file Democrats. However, he's pretty hated by the party elite.
a socialist candidate is more dangerous to this country as far as the strength and well-being of our country than Donald Trump. I would vote for Donald Trump, a despicable human being.
2016 was not the first time that things got messy at the Democratic National Convention. Back in 1968, when the Democratic Party selected a candidate who supported the Vietnam War, things got ugly outside the convention on the streets of Chicago. So, with the Democratic Party still stinging from Trump's upset victory, and with a lot of internal strife and divisions, it's starting to look like primary season might become a little bit chaotic for the oldest party in America.
The changes that we're seeing in the Democratic primary are basically joke changes. This is purely an empty PR move. In 2016, the Democratic Party had to resort to pretty extreme maneuvers to hand the election to the establishment candidate. But note, the way they did that was not just about superdelegates. They also gave, for example, Clinton the debate questions beforehand. The Democratic Party will be able to do this just as long as Democratic voters let them get away with it.